brisk morning. You'll wake up to frost on the car windows.
Good morning.
If you're leaving early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun.
We have a freeze warning in effect this morning, John,
Yeah.
for southern Wisconsin until 9 a.m.
31 degrees when we woke up.
Yeah. It's gone up a few degrees, but, yeah, it's still in the low 30s.
Yeah, this is bad stuff. I hope you brought in the basil. We grow basil every year outside our front
Really?
door.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. It grows like crazy. You cut it, grows back. It's just incredible. And you have to bring it in or else it's very sensitive to temperatures.
Yeah. Did you bring it in
Yeah,
last
we did.
night?
Well, not last night. We brought it in last week because we anticipated this week. So,
What else do you grow there?
Well, we had zucchini. It didn't do real well this year, and for some reason, the animal life around our house suddenly had a craving for zucchini.
How about
that wasn't good.
Do you do tomatoes? You do any other?
We have a lot of tomatoes. Yeah. Yep. Ann brought all the tomatoes in. It was just crazy. I mean, we have like 30 tomatoes now lining the window shelves for sunlight.
Okay.
They ripen real well in the sun.
Anything else that you grow in garden?
Pot?
I was going to say,
I was asking.
you grow the devil's lettuce?
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what we use pot for, just in addition to the mix, the lettuce mix that we buy at Woodman's.
Just throw it into a salad.
Yeah.
A little ranch dressing on it.
It's a little spicy, and it feel pretty good after that.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out the high temperature for today.
Well,
What do you say we
that.
use the weather roulette wheel?
All
Okay?
right, yes.
You got it all ready to go there, Sam? All right. Get the ball rolling. Round and round it goes. Let's see what the high temperature for today in
That
Madison
never
will
wears
be.
out. It never wears out.
It never wears. It's going to be 55. Double nickels today.
55.
Black 55.
Black 55.
Okay. Good deal.
You hate it when it's the red 55 because that just drives me crazy.
Doesn't seem right somehow.
Yeah, it's wrong,
Okay.
but this is nice. Black 55 like it.
Oh, great. Excellent. Yeah.
Well, it's transitioning to the winter wear that we have to put on every day now.
Yeah. We got you got some fleece thing.
Yeah,
Is that a fleece?
kind of double shirt here that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some
You
flannel
got
today.
the flannel on.
Sam's got a
Sam's got a
sweatshirt of
what
some
the hell
kind.
is that? A sweatshirt?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Bumpers. Yeah.
What, Wisconsin?
Yeah, found it in the Lost and Found, actually.
Wait a minute. How are you in charge of the lost and found at the UW?
It's a UW sweatshirt, but it was not in the Lost and Found at UW.
Oh, one of the theaters that you work at
No,
as a projectionist?
it was at the summer camp I worked at, actually.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
That
That's
is
very
hilarious.
nice. It's
That's
a really
hilarious.
nice one.
Thank
yeah.
you.
My son, Gen Z as well,
Yeah.
used to go through the Lost and Found at his high school.
Yeah.
Pick out the clothes he liked.
It's like thrifting, but for free.
It is.
Thrifting for free. I like it. I like it. Well, good. Everything's good. We all got nice warm clothing on, and it's cold outside, but
We're
it's
all
supposed to warm up for the weekends.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I went to the dentist, had a tooth pulled. That was kind of fun.
How did that go?
Oh, it was great.
we
it was
can't
just
forget that
fantastic.
you went through some pain yesterday. Not just the
tell you.
show, but actually getting your tooth pulled.
After the show. Yeah, I went in there, and they start going. Yeah, have you ever had a tooth pulled?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, how about you?
No, I take care of my teeth. I'm young.
Okay.
No.
Was it just what?
Wisdom teeth. A lot
What
of
about
people
your
get their
I
wisdom
guess
teeth pulled.
yes, I have had my wisdom
Okay,
teeth
there
out,
you
but
go.
I
I
know
was-
what it's
they
like.
put me under for it, so I don't.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they put you under.
Was
Well,
it
they
just?
didn't put me they didn't put me
No.
under for this.
But they numbed you up at least, right?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
love it when they numb you up and then they get in there with the needle and just
Oh.
zap you with the
Oh.
needle.
Isn't that something?
It's gonna pinch a little bit. Yeah. Now there's a little pressure. Yeah. You're like, but they do it so quickly. It's just
Well, The one thing I hate about that is that they inject the needle into your gum,
right.
and then they search around with it. They kind of move it around in your gum.
Yeah.
That just creeps me out.
Yeah.
I don't like it at
Yeah.
all.
And then they start going to town.
Yeah.
They
go to
They wait, about 5 or 10 minutes.
They
and
break
then,
up the tooth.
Then the fun begins. Yeah. dig
Just
through.
like pulling out a tooth for the tooth fairy when you were a
I'll
kid.
tell you what, it was brutal for about 15, 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
a lot
It takes
and-
that long?
Well, I had actually, I had the tooth, and then I had a chip of another tooth that was next to it that had to come out of the gum
Oh.
that was left over from an extraction before that somehow they missed, a few years ago, and that showed up, and that was also
Yikes.
next to everything was next to the nerve, of course, so that makes it extra fun.
Jeez.
Yeah. So they got in there, and you know what it's like. You got the dentist with his two hands, and then
Yeah.
they got the assistant in there with the suction, and there,
Right.
so it's like and you're just there at their will,
At their mercy.
yeah. But it was good. I mean, overall,
Yeah.
and I went home. It started wearing off,
Yeah.
and it was really painful for about 2-3 hours.
Oh, yeah?
Took a little
Yeah.
Tylenol and ibuprofen
Yeah.
and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
the stacking of the ibuprofen and the Tylenol.
Yeah, definitely.
And then fell asleep, and this morning's just sore. No sharp pain,
Yeah.
just sore.
Kind of a liquid diet. You can't
Yeah.
really
Got-
chew on that
Got
side.
no, not for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
When I got
Really?
when I got my wisdom teeth out, I made
Yeah.
the mistake. It was like 2 or 3 days after the surgery
Yeah.
of eating sunflower seeds.
Well, that's not good.
That was not a good
That
move.
was a horrible idea. Wow.
Yeah, that's
We got a text here from somebody saying devil's lettuce, adding marijuana to lettuce. I say God's sweet herb.
I like that.
From
Yeah.
your lips to God's ears.
There
you go. Well, let's check out the National Day calendar for the 16th of October. What do you say, guys?
Thank you, Mark, for that.
Yeah, thanks for those texts. You can text us anytime, 608-879-8255. Okay, is it National Sports Day? National Bra Day? National Liquor Day? Department Store Day? National Fossil Day? Or National Dictionary Day?
That's
one of
not,
those
it's
days
not
that-
National Dictionary Day.
What-
It sounds
well-
stupid as hell.
You're wrong, John
What?
Peterson. It is National Dictionary Day.
No one uses dictionaries anymore.
Well, we'll find out about that in a moment.
Okay.
Sam, do you have a guess?
Department store day? It's not that.
You are also
Oh
wrong.
man.
I did one of those things where I didn't make up a fake day, so you're both wrong.
What? You get the
That's-
buzzer
I
now.
tilted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get the buzzer.
Okay, fine. Let's find out about National Department Store Days because, there's so many of them still out there, right? Department Store Day urges us to consider how department store innovations have impacted shopping in our daily lives. You sit around thinking about that. huh?
Oh, God.
In existence since, they started department stores in the early 19th century.
Yeah,
Yeah, early
there's so
1800s,
many
yeah.
movies that involved department
Macy's,
stores.
yeah, these old
Miracle
ones.
on 42nd Street,
I
was
think
it?
it is, yeah.
And that was just a fantastic movie. But, the department stores have gone through all of these different changes.
Yes.
But I had just gone to Westtown, and my first trip into a department store in many, many moon. And it was a surreal experience for me. I don't know what this was. It used to be, I think, a Boston store at one time. But now it's I can't even pronounce the name. I don't know how they can survive if people can't pronounce the name of their store. But I walked in.
Westtown?
Yeah. And it's all this high-end stuff, And then as I was walking in, it had nice music going on and stuff like that. But I walked right by their nice music, and they had a pianist in there playing away. And it's great. Really great. But what? A pianist in a department store?
I don't know.
Now, they'll probably dress him up as Santa Claus for Christmas.
Just an odd job, maybe, for somebody.
Well, it's
Can
kind
you
of
play
cool,
piano? Yeah.
but then you got to think,
Why?
Why? Am I paying for this when I buy a pair of shoes?
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't doing it for free, right?
Well, I
Piano
don't
wasn't
know.
for free.
When you're an artist, you do a lot of things for free.
Remember the old days when department stores had lunch counters?
Yes,
and,
yes,
you could have
yeah.
something to eat there.
Oh, and they had
relax.
fashion shows while you were sitting there eating.
Yes, fashion shows. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Well, the models would walk right through the restaurant.
I know. Those were the days.
Yeah, that was fantastic stuff.
Okay. Let's check out National Dictionary Day. We got
All
a
right.
couple of minutes here. You thought you doubted it was National Dictionary Day, but it is. In 1806, America's Noah Webster published the first dictionary, a compendious dictionary of the English language.
Yeah.
Webster immediately began compiling and expanding a full comprehensive dictionary and, changing the way that words were spelled from the English style to an American style.
You know,
Brings back that
President George-
SNL.
President
skit,
George
right?
Washington has different definitions for specific words.
Right? In fact, Webster replaced color, which was COLOUR, with color the way that we spell it, COLOR.
That's in the bit. Hey, do we
Yeah.
have? I had two of those, and we only played one.
Oh, let's see if we can find the other one.
Yeah, we could play that next.
I'll dig for it.
Some of
Okay.
the other words that were changed were wagon. Wagon in the English language, or the English British version, was with two G's. Wagon, Americanized, is WAGON. Center, center instead of century, the way the English spelled
Look,
it.
I don't want to
Century.
discourage people from using a dictionary, but
No.
we don't use paperback, dictionaries anymore. We use the internet.
Well,
You just right-click on it,
right?
look it up on the internet, and you've got it. You don't
There you
have
are.
to have a physical book there anymore.
Yeah. Unless the internet's down and your computer's broken or something. Okay.
Internet's down. Ooh. What else do you got there?
Well, I mentioned it, so let's get into it.
All right.
The Broad Day, USA. This is Breast Reconstruction Awareness Day, actually, the third Wednesday in October. Breast cancer campaign brings special focus to an area of concern for women and some men, too.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
breast
yeah,
cancer.
definitely.
Deciding whether to reconstruct after a mastectomy is a personal decision, and so they've set aside this day to make aware of everybody that this is an important
Get tested.
Get tested,
Get-
and
get
it's an
examined.
important choice to do if you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Reconstruction. Okay, Sam, did you find George Washington?
I did. It's a little over 3 minutes long, so
We'll hold it.
we'll have
over.
that on the back
We'll
burner.
play it next.
All right. It's I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's National Bosses Day. Hey.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So we
wow.
should salute our boss,
So we-
Catherine Lake.
Are we
this
going to do
morning.
something special for her?
I don't know. She might be listening, so let's discuss that off the air.
Oh,
if we're
good
going to
idea.
do something special.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
we had a plan, right? We had a plan.
Oh, of
Well,
course.
we did,
of
but
course.
it's not here yet.
Yeah,
we
that's
wanted
right.
it
We
delivered.
ordered
We're
something,
waiting on
but-
the shipping truck.
Exactly. Okay. It is 18 minutes past the hour. We're just getting started.
I don't
on
think she ever expected us to get anything for her, and we came through for her on that.
Yeah, we've reached her expectations. We're back with more of the John and Gordy Show for this Wednesday on 92.7 WMDX. think this was one of the songs that Trump was playing the other night.
Oh,
at his doo-wop dance party.
Yeah.
And that sway thing, the sway and the weave.
The weave, yes. He's got that weave down. 92.7 WMDX, the John and Gordy Family Show. In fact, we got that from Mark. Some of the outtakes of Donnie's doo-wop dance party. Must have been later in the 39-minute horror show. And two of the women on stage sitting down looking at Trump with looks that were completely befuddled in terror.
That's Mark from Prairie
Yeah,
Sack.
it's
text.
something else. And Catherine, our boss, you know,
It's National Bosses Day.
yeah, for a program director, you know, normally program directors leave all the bad news and all the discipline up to the consultants. But Catherine has taken that on herself.
Well, she's the station manager here now, too.
Yes,
you know,
she
so
is.
She's taking on more
She
duty.
is. And she sent us a little text here.
Yeah, after we
Should
said,
we pass that along?
Yeah, I think so. Because
You know-
we're going to get her some nice
Yeah.
gift. What does it say?
It says losers.
Oh, well, maybe we ought to reconsider that gift item that we ordered.
Sam, could you just lock the lobby? We
Will
don't
do,
want
will
that
do.
shipment
All
here.
right. That's, we can give it. We can take it away. Yeah. Okay.
I'll rope off all the parking spaces down below.
So much for the mixed platter of cheeses and sausages.
Yep. That's going somewhere
All
else.
right.
Okay.
And somebody also, Anna, thanks for the text. She wrote that, John, with the Pick and Save, it opened on Cottage Grove Road. They used to have a piano player on Saturdays.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Those were the days.
Yeah, when they actually
Department
put some
stores.
work into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who chooses like a grocery store to have a live piano player in though?
Yeah, I don't know what possessed them to
can't
think
tell you.
this is the way to get business in
Doesn't
here.
make much sense. And we were talking about National Dictionary Day and the different spelling of words,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned that George Washington had something
George
to do
Washington
with that, right?
crossing the Potomac certainly had a few topics to discuss with his soldiers around him, and they all had a lot of questions for him.
Including not only how to spell or certain words that
Yeah.
he could make up. Actually,
He was just thinking, what can we do?
He
in
wanted
this
some
new
truly
country?
American words.
Yes,
Exactly.
He wanted, yeah.
Well, let's go back in
Remember.
time. Let's hear what he had to
We
say.
live through the battle ahead because we fight to control our own destiny. To create our own nation.
Well said.
And to do our own thing with the English language.
Our own thing, sir?
Yes. I dream that one day our great nation will have a word for the number 12. We shall call it a dozen.
And what other numbers will we have a word for?
None. Only 12 shall have its own word because we are free men. And we will be free to spell some words two different ways.
Which words, sir?
Donut. And the name Jeff.
What are the two ways to spell Jeff, sir?
It's the short way with a J and the stupid way with a G.
Like Jim.
And this is why we fight, men, to extend these liberties to all Americans.
Including men of color like myself?
We will also have two names for animals. One when they are alive, and a different one when they become food. So cows will be beef, pigs will be pork.
And chickens, sir?
That one stays. Chickens are chicken, and we will create our own foods and name them what we want, like the hamburger.
Made of ham, sir?
If it only were that simple. A hamburger is made of beef, just as a buffalo wing is made of chicken. But fear not, men. A hot dog will not be made of dogs.
What is it made of, sir?
Nobody knows.
I confess I'm very confused. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to much of this.
Do not worry, soldier. For in our great nation, we will create schools to teach our children our ways. The first year of school will be called kindergarten.
And what will the second year be called?
First grade. The children will not have to go to school every day. We will have our own holidays, 4th of July, Flag Day, and President's Day.
And what shall we do to honor our leaders on President's Day, sir?
Buy a mattress, of course.
That's it. That
yeah.
is fantastic.
Okay. Ah, yes.
It's one of the great bits.
It really is. Funny
classic.
Stuff. Nate Bergotsky
Yeah.
there as General
I wonder if
George
he does
Washington.
that for his stand-up routine.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
His stand-up is really, really excellent.
Yeah.
It's National Fossil Day. I mentioned that before.
Yes.
Because, we have to have a day set aside to salute fossils.
I thought you were going to say just
Like,
salute.
like us.
I thought you were going to say just salute yourselves.
Yes, that's right. All around the world, paleontologists seek and identify the remnants of animals. Fossils are important.
Yeah, well,
in
you
scientific
say
world.
that, but as little boys, we went around looking for fossils all the time. Did you do that, Sam?
I did. I was
Yeah.
going to ask, was there something that inspired you and other kids of your age to go out and look for fossils and be into paleontology and stuff like that? For people my age and a little older than me, it was probably Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
No, I can't
No?
think of anything that inspired it, but we were
Not
always looking
really.
for arrowheads and things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
in the farm fields.
Yeah.
When they dig.
Well, accidentally running
do some
across
plowing.
fossils, just from, construction sites. You'd
Right.
find them there, and it's just really cool. We had all these dinosaur books back in the old
Oh,
days.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Those are gone
And of course,
now.
Beanie and Cecil, that cartoon.
Well, of course, me, do you want to have a sea serpent?
Yes. kind of a dinosaur, I guess.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
really.
kind
Really?
of. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. We don't know really what Cecil was. Was it Beanie or Cecil? Beanie was the kid, right? Wasn't he?
Right, yeah.
So it was Cecil,
Cecil.
the sea serpent.
Boy, that goes back.
Whew. Okay, 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit of the history books, but also Idiocracy right around the corner.
That's right.
On the John and Gordy Show on 92.7 WMDX.
John and Gordy in the morning, the number 3 morning show in Wisconsin, according to the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. Number 3? Are you sure about this?
I don't think they made a mistake.
I'm still counting the votes, retabulating. But we got a piece of paper that says that. So.
Yeah, we do have something like that. We were never given that piece of paper.
We had to find it.
Yeah, I've still never seen it.
Yeah, you really haven't? Yeah.
It was tucked away somewhere, and I found it by going through some desks and rifling through somebody else's desk.
Highly valued award. Thank you very much. 92.7 WMDX, the John and Gordy family show. It's always family-oriented. We never say anything risque or anything like that on the show.
That's right.
But we will be getting the John and Gordy...
what? We've got some... We've got some things for tomorrow night's night market.
We do, but we're waiting on the special.
balls?
Is that what
our ball?
Catherine's gift is?
We're
no words.
No.
we're
not
going
confirmed
back
nor
and
denied.
forth on that one.
No. I'm
I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would like to squeeze your balls.
Okay. So
there you go.
Let's
See,
go.
that's exactly it.
All right.
So we're going to give the people out there a chance to squeeze those balls with our, what do they call them?
Stress balls.
Stress balls.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's
right.
the purpose of those stress balls.
After listening to some of the cuts from Trump, we definitely need those stress balls. My God.
Yeah. So join us at the night market tomorrow night. It'll be right across the street here in front of the Overture Center. And we have a Halloween theme, too. So be sure to stop by. Yeah.
Mark. This is really good, Mark. Mark
we're back
texted
to
us with this.
A Fossils Day?
Fossils are just the devil's tools to try to convince us that the world is more than 6,000 years old.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
I agree.
Hey, did you see this this morning? This is brand new overnight breaking news. Donald Trump is going to go work at a McDonald's.
You know, I think he should just give up the campaign and work at McDonald's.
Well,
he might like it a lot.
I thought maybe he had just lined this up for something to do after the election.
Oh,
when
yeah?
he loses.
You're right.
But no.
He's going to sample it and try it out. The fryer.
Sunday, he's going to be at a McDonald's somewhere in Pennsylvania. So he's going to visit the Golden Arches, and instead of chowing down on his favorite 2,400 calorie order choice, usually he has 2 Macs, 2 fish fillet sandwiches, and a chocolate milkshake.
You know that if you eat something like that, you're going to be in top health.
Yeah, he can't wait.
What the hell?
He says he's expected to work the fry cooker in a Philadelphia branch of McDonald's, according to CNN. And he's going to visit the Golden Arches.
I mentioned
because
this before.
he's doing this because he's been dissing Kamala Harris.
That's right.
Saying that she didn't work at McDonald's. She said she had worked at it as a summer job.
Because just running for president, you have to have at least that job on your resume.
That's it.
Because it's important what you did at McDonald's to become president. My mega friend in Milwaukee is just hung up on this thing that she lied about working at McDonald's.
Well,
and he has no proof that she didn't work at McDonald's. I have no proof she did work at McDonald's, except I believe her sister confirmed that.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a prerequisite to run for president. So I don't know why he's hung up on this thing. But because she is supposedly lying about working at McDonald's, why would you ever believe her any other time?
Right. That's what they're going.
And I'm saying, wait a minute, you lost the argument on lying, my friend.
Well, she's told the story repeatedly, Kamala Harris has, that she's worked in the 1980s during her summer college years.
Yes.
So, during the summer, during her college years.
Try to go back to one of the early jobs that you had and see if they have a record of you ever working there.
Yeah.
No.
In the 1980s.
Right.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I still have my work shirt from my first job.
Which was that? What was that?
I was working at a bowling alley in the kitchen there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I hated that job.
Yeah. That would be a bad job.
If I ever run for president, I'll tell people that I work there, though.
All right.
You have proof.
I do, yeah.
Do you really? Just
Well,
the bowling shirt?
I've got the shirt.
Well, anybody can get the bowling shirt.
You can buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
You could find it at
I want proof.
some kind of Salvation Army. Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. My wife used to work at Suburbia. You remember the Suburbia sandwiches?
Remember Suburbia?
Belushi-
that was a long
John
time.
Belushi did an ad for him. Did the jingle. Suburbia, submarine sandwich, Suburbia.
That was a long
He
time.
did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then she worked at Rocky Rococo's.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the secret formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I went to the Rocky Rococo's the other day.
but you can't prove it today.
Ah.
So
Yeah. There's still a few Rocky
I'm
Rococo's
not sure if I should
around.
believe her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still around.
They are.
Yeah.
I love Rockies. I just
do
wish
too.
you had
Yeah.
less expensive pizza.
It's a little pricey, but
It's a little pricey.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Remember
it's time-
when you could just get a slice
Yeah.
at Rockies?
Well, you still can just get a regular slice.
Yeah.
You can.
Well, I remember in
When I got the
you
other night.
picked out all the different slices
yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
The one on the Beltline near where American TV
Yes.
used to be.
Yep. Mhm.
They still have 2 old video machines there. They have a
Oh.
regular Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that I played all the time? I'll never think
Space
of it now.
Invaders or something?
No, it wasn't Space. It was kind of like that. It
Miss
was
Pac-Man?
Galaga.
Oh gosh, I can't think.
I know
of it.
you and one of your kids love to play Galaga together.
Galaga. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Oh.
Galaga. Yeah. Yeah, they still
He
have that.
remembers that.
Galaga and Pac-Man still at the Rocky Rococo's on the Beltline. It's great. And
That's yeah.
I think it's free too.
But we can't prove it.
I
You know,
know.
but here's the thing. At the same time, he's going to work the fryer. Trump is going to work the fryer. But it doesn't matter because, Donald, you have to work for 8 damn hours on that fryer.
Yeah,
And see
see
how
what
you
it's really-
feel then.
Exactly.
You can't just eat fries the whole day either.
That's right.
It's not just a photo op for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then try to get that fryer grease off of your clothes and your skin. Oh, you would hate that.
I
Oh,
hope he
you would
has
hate that.
an official McDonald's costume. A uniform.
Yeah.
Are they going to dress him up as Ronald McDonald?
Hey, maybe that would be a great idea. Actually, yeah.
Here's somebody in 76. I worked at a Holiday gas station in Superior. I may still have a stocking cap. That's his Holiday.
And that's proof that you worked there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good
Yeah.
enough. Okay,
But I don't know. Just working at McDonald's.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Apparently for Trump.
So are they going to have a record of him ever working there? Does that make him
Does
more
that count?
qualified to be the president?
Yeah,
See?
maybe it's a
that's why
last-minute,
he's doing that.
campaign
Yeah, it's something you
strategy.
can add to the resume
Sure.
where Kamala can't really add it to her resume because we don't know. We have no proof at all.
I mean, I wonder if somebody in the campaign staff came up with that, or is that just his idea?
It's his idea, and they're going to carry it out
They're gonna go,
because
"Oh,
everybody
God."
obeys
Yeah.
the mob boss that we have running for president. This is how petty this whole thing is. I mean, once we get this close to the election, they've run out of the big things to talk about. Now, we saw this on CNN this morning. Harris is being criticized for being scripted.
Yeah.
Trump has the weave. Okay, they're equal, right? Where they
Comparing. Yeah.
prepare a script and read from it and tell people in detail what you want to do as president,
Yeah.
as opposed to Trump's The Weave, where he just rambles on and on and on and then says he's just tying them all together, all these ideas together, which never made any sense, still doesn't make any sense,
Right.
but we're expected to believe that. The Weave. I guess he just did that in Chicago.
Yeah.
And by the way, we've got cuts from his little excursion in Chicago talking about economics, just bashing,
I know.
bashing a guy who is the editor of Bloomberg. And he's talking about how bad the Wall Street Journal is.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait for those editorials to come out on the Wall Street Journal.
Right. Well, Trump has the weave, and now he's got the sway. He's got the sway and the weave.
Yeah.
The sway is the new dance. There should be a new dance, song
There should
to go
be.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if the
That's coming.
Flintstones were on, they would have a song called The Weave. I know they would.
so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back in the old days, the Flintstones would do a
Right.
takeoff on the Beatles and
Oh, they do all that.
all
stuff.
sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kamala Harris
Yeah.
does. They're again accusing her of having scripted speeches.
How horrible
It means
could that
she can
be?
read a teleprompter.
Yes, and he can't
And that's
anymore.
it. That's exactly it.
It does
Yeah.
take some skill. John, have you ever read a teleprompter? I'm sure Gordy, you
I
I
did.
have. Yeah, I did it a lot.
Well, we did it on the movie show every
Well,
once
that's
in
true.
a while.
That's
Okay,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did a little bit in college. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Well, especially if you have a director in your earpiece that's
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
to you
yeah.
while you're trying to read and concentrate on the next phrase. But
But
it's
he's not doing it. He's just reading it, and then when he makes a huge mistake,
Yeah.
he capitalizes on it
He just-
by taking a riff on it.
Right.
And I'm just like, why? I mean, the guy who put the script together is probably just pulling their hair out.
Yeah, well, exactly. But yeah, he does go off on a tangent from time to time from those scripted comments, the teleprompter. And you got again. I feel sorry for the teleprompter operator, the person
Yeah.
that's running.
They got to stop the
They're
teleprompter.
like, they don't know
so,
where he's
we got
going.
to stop here because
Yeah.
now he's riffing on
talking about
something he made
something
a
else.
mistake on.
Maybe
Right?
we got to plant somebody in his campaign that works the teleprompter to sabotage him even more.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I'm sure that
Well,
would work. I mean, he probably thinks that already.
Yeah,
He fires him right after
they've accidentally
the
made
deal
some
is
errors
over.
in the teleprompter, saying Trump should say, and then
Right.
he would read that. Trump should say. They stopped doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's he has a very dark vision of this country.
Yeah.
And in contrast, the Harris-Walz campaign is completely opposite of that.
Yes.
And the thing is, when he goes around and he talks about this dark vision he has of our country currently, people, they have their own eyes. They have their own experiences. They go out, they see what life is all about, and it doesn't resemble anything that Trump is describing in his speeches. There is no resemblance whatsoever to reality.
And lately, the last couple of weeks, he's been riffing on the enemy from within.
The enemy,
Yeah,
yes.
the
Isn't that cool?
Democrats,
Doesn't it
the
just
enemy
roll,
from within.
I know.
Yes, yes.
I know.
He's
This
gonna
is
banish them. He's going to get rid of them. He's going to send
Yeah.
them away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Invasion of the body snatchers.
Yes. It's a very dark vision.
Yes, it is. Well, we got that coming up as well. And
Yes, we
by
do.
the way, I think I have Tim Walz talking about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've
That's
got a whole
coming up.
bunch of comments from Harris and Walz, and a lot from Walz.
And of course, we have Mike McCabe coming up in our next hour, and he'll be talking about his latest Substack blog, right?
Yes, absolutely. He's got a great topic this time around.
I think his book is coming out tomorrow, actually, also.
Yes, and we'll be talking with Mike in a little while. This portion of the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. You can sleep better, you can dream bigger, or dream better and sleep bigger, or just, go to sleep and have a nice nap. On a handcrafted, locally made mattress. You can find them on Madison's east and west side or online at verlo.com.
We've got to play something. We're going to get to a little Johnny at the movies, I think, after Brittany.
You went to see a movie.
I
didn't you?
saw The Apprentice,
Oh, boy.
which I highly recommend. Big thumbs up. If, you're going to work and you can't hear Johnny at the movies, but we'll be having that. And
Okay.
we'll also, and I hope to have this either today or maybe tomorrow. This is Greg Marcus, who runs the theaters.
Yes.
And my son showed it to me this morning. He has a video out where he does speak Gen Z.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some of his
He uses
intros
a
are-
lot of Gen Z words. And I told my son this morning, I said, he is kidding. This is just, he's just having fun with it. And he goes, oh, yeah, but it's cringe.
Is it? It's
I'm
Oh,
thinking,
he's
no.
using Gen Z words in a
Yes.
poor way. He does it poorly.
You think so?
He does it, yes.
But maybe it's intentionally poor
It's,
to be
it's
funny.
intentionally.
Oh,
poor.
okay.
I mean,
Oh,
where,
I think
you're forced to use their words
Exactly. Yeah.
in conversation, and it's fun stuff. I hope to play it.
Okay. We'll get to that in just a little while here
Yeah.
on the John and Gordy
I
Show.
know it's something to look forward to.
It's-
Well, you want to mark that on the calendar.
It's a cold start this morning. Freezing advisories.
Cold start.
It is.
Yeah, I think we're warmed up.
We're
I think by
warming
now.
up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get up to a high of 55. We'll talk to Brittany Merlot
All right.
also in our
Yeah.
next hour. It's all coming up on the John and Gordy Show on 92.7 WMDX.
92.7 WMDX, the John and Gordy family show, and a good morning to you. Had frost on the car windows this morning. Scary, scary stuff.
Pretty cold out
Don't
there.
want to see that.
Low to mid-30s this morning, mid-50s this afternoon. Okay.
All right.
Should we get to a text here?
Yes,
we
we
get into
could.
everything else?
We're talking about Substack.
Yeah.
And Mike McCabe stopping by this morning, as he always does, at 7:35.
On Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Yeah, we got a text from Doug, and he says, a regular stack, we were talking pancake. What were we talking about? What brought this? Oh, Substack. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, Mike, he says, a regular stack of pancakes is 3 or more. How many pancakes are in a Substack? Okay, Doug.
He wants to know. Let's get calls
People
on
want
that.
to know. Thank you.
I'm a pancake. I'm a
Okay.
pancake. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm a pancake.
Yeah.
I'm a pancake.
Oh.
I'm
You know,
a
Doug
pancake.
always-
Pancakes sound good this morning.
Doug
I'm a
always
pancake.
tells us where he's from, St. Francis, the shoreline of Lake Michigan. And he
Tends
wrote
to move around a lot.
corner of Howard and Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, I know where that is.
Do you know it?
Yeah, I used to hang out. Mhm.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
South Side. Oh, yeah, I lived in Bayview for a while.
Okay.
Long period of time, actually.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh. Why not? What's wrong with you?
I never spent a lot of time in Milwaukee.
Of course, I
Been
don't
there.
have any proof that I lived there, so maybe
Need proof.
maybe I'm lying.
John, I got to get you to give me a tour of Milwaukee because I've only been there like a couple times, but for very specific things. Never really explored the city, and it seems like a cool place.
The place I think you'd really like,
Yeah.
and it's a place I just love. It's the Science Outlet.
Science outlet?
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah, they have scientific equipment that they sell at an outlet store.
What am I going to do with scientific equipment?
Just cheap test tubes and stuff?
You'd find stuff that you'd really like.
Are you trying to turn me into like a Dr. Frankenstein
Yeah.
sort of character?
Well, pretty much so,
oh,
yes.
no.
Maybe some of that stuff could help your work on the VW. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of a science. What is it? Science Depot?
Science
What?
outlet?
Outlet? Okay.
It's a science outlet store.
Why would they have
They have medical equipment and everything else you can buy. Yeah, it's
cheap, outdated,
it's really
illegal
bizarre.
medical equipment?
It's on Oklahoma Avenue.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure of the name, but
All right.
I don't know, 70th in Oklahoma.
Okay.
All right. Why don't we get into some of the stuff that happened in Chicago? Trump appeared at the Economic Club of Chicago, and the moderator, of course, is the editor-in-chief of Bloomberg, and it didn't go well. Does any of these appearances go well
He
if
got
Trump
into a
is
discussion
invited?
with the head of Bloomberg
he
about
did.
economics.
Yes,
It was
economics.
interesting.
Well, let's listen to Cut 117. A lot of this stuff is self-explanatory. Let's try it.
That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy.
tariffs.
And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive in terms of the economy.
I agree it's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well, just
let me just let me
give
tell
me
you. I
an
know how
example.
committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being
Listen.
negative and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further.
40
If
million,
you don't
40
do
million,
this,
President
this
Trump,
country
40
has
million,
no
40
chance.
million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're
trade.
all coming back.
There it is.
They're all coming back
They're all coming back.
because of tariffs.
See the thing, this is the thing he's basing the tariffs on.
Yeah.
It's not just the tariffs and the unfair pricing, but from other countries. He thinks that if he has these tariffs, it's going to bring jobs and corporations to the United States so they don't have to pay tariffs.
Right.
They're going to pick up and move out of the other countries. Their entire corporations,
Right.
their manufacturing plants, so they can come here and not have to pay a tariff. This guy is in some kind of fantasy world. It's a scary, scary stuff. All
Just
right,
doesn't work like that.
let's move on to something else here. The question was, after January 6th, will you commit to now respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power? This is 120.
John, I hate to break it to you. We
Oh,
don't have
no.
enough
Oh,
time for
come
this.
on.
Do you want to start it?
No. We don't have enough time
Why do you
for
do
that?
this to yourself? You
What?
do this every time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. This is the long one. I got another one. Here.
All right. Can you get to it?
Yeah, let's get to this. This is Trump bashed Wall Street Journal and the host of this interview program. Go ahead. 121.
She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
President Trump, the
No,
issue,
but
the issue
wait
at
a
the
minute.
moment, the issue at the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're gonna grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion.
you can
People like the
forget
Wall
it.
Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
Yeah, but you don't know.
they have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about
No, you're trying to turn this into debate. There are
It's
business
not a debate.
people. There
No,
are
but
business
you're wrong.
people.
You've been wrong all your life on this stuff.
It's just it is shocking. This guy's arrogance is absolutely shocking. He is never going to admit he's wrong, and no matter what, no matter how many economists are out there correcting him, they're never going to be right.
Why are they clapping for him?
Good
what do
question.
they like about this?
I don't know.
If they're business
I don't
people,
know.
they ought to know that he's pretty much wrong on everything.
Are they clapping the host? Or
I think they were clapping the host. Some of
Oh.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should hope.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody has provided the name of the outlet store
Oh,
that
the
I'm
science-
recommending.
the science outlet store?
The American Science and Surplus.
Where you can get
Surplus science stuff.
like secondhand.
Yes,
science
whatever it
stuff,
is.
Test tubes.
Oh, they got a lot of test tubes. They're
microscopes.
really cool.
Yeah.
And beakers.
Oh, beakers.
And
they have Bunsen burners. You
and they
think?
have Bunsen burners.
Remember the
Please
Bunsen
pass
burners?
my 3 cents.
Yeah.
Where Robbie was, trying to hook up with this girl in his class.
Yeah.
And he was practicing at home the words, please pass the Bunsen burner.
Good
How
times.
will I ever forget that?
Coming up at our 7 o'clock hour, Mike McCabe will join us right here on John and Gordy.
Let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy Show.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
Do you know what this means?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
You're pretty high and far out, aren't you? What kind of kick are you on, son?
No good bastard. Your show sucks.
What made me think this was a good day to stop drinking?
Buddy, do you want coffee?
Coffee.
Black coffee.
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 They warned us about people like you!
What a load of crap.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We'll do it live.
And that's the way it is.
On 92.7 FM, WMDX. Take it away, boys.
Another fantastic morning. We've got more cuts coming up from the Economic Club of Chicago, where Trump spewed all his intelligence.
He got into an argument with the guy from Bloomberg,
Yes.
basically. I mean,
The editor of Bloomberg certainly has been wrong since the very beginning of Bloomberg magazine.
according to Trump.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the Wall Street Journal also has been wrong about everything, including the editorials that supported him, I suppose. Let's
Maybe
assume.
so. 7 minutes past the hour. It's a cold start this morning. We have a freeze advisory till 9 a.m. for southern Wisconsin. Right now, 35 degrees, highs in the mid-50s. And this portion of the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. Find them on Madison's east or west sides or online at verlo.com. And Terry Bell joins us this morning. Good morning,
guys.
Terry.
How are you?
Well, good.
We're doing okay.
Good.
We're doing all right. How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the story today that we're highlighting?
Well, the big story today is probably the state of Wisconsin has a budget surplus, a pretty significant one, $4.6 billion to end the fiscal year.
That seems like a lot.
That is a lot of money. Not as much as last year. The biggest,
That was 6 or 8 billion, wasn't it?
I think north of 7. Yeah. And that was right after the pandemic, and that was when Wisconsin got quite a bit of money from Washington, one-time money, and that number now down to about $4.5 billion. That's also includes $1.9 billion in the rainy day fund. So Wisconsin is in good fiscal shape, and this also sets up the budget deliberations that are going to start next spring. So they're going to chart the course for spending for the next 2 years after that, and there'll be quite a bit of debate over how or if this surplus should be spent, especially if the new maps change the makeup of the legislature significantly. Could be a much different debate than we've been having in recent years. Yeah.
Well, I hope so. A lot of that money, I've always said on this program that the surplus is money that we refuse to spend on the needs of Wisconsin, like rural hospitals and clinics.
Cleaning up the PFAS situation.
The daycare situation. We're not spending money where it should be spent. And, of course, we've got the surplus. And the Republicans, for a long time, have been building up this surplus in order to give it away as a tax cut. And that's their purpose for having all this money.
And that's their preference. Yeah, they would rather use this money for tax cuts.
Yeah.
Governor Evers, he wants to spend on education and, as you said, child care and PFAS cleanup. So yeah, it's this should shape that debate going forward after the legislature gets back to work in they get back to work in January, but the state budget deliberations usually start sometime shortly after that.
And just update us on the presidential candidate situations here in Wisconsin, because they're around tomorrow, right?
The latest news, tomorrow, Kamala Harris will be in Wisconsin tomorrow, 3 different stops, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and La Crosse. We just found out late yesterday that Barack Obama will be in Madison on Tuesday.
Really?
So it's the first day of in-person early voting is Tuesday. So Democrats are planning a bunch of big events in swing states for that, and including Barack Obama in Madison.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Terry.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have
I'm
a good
expecting to run into one of the candidates soon at a Quick Trip or
Are you?
or Aldi if they do a little shopping here in town.
Okay.
I hope.
Well, that's great.
Well, I think
good luck
it'll
with
work.
that.
Well, thank you.
Gonna hang around the convenience stores,
Well,
grocery stores, and
I do anyway. I'm at Woodman's,
Costco.
Menards,
You're hanging out.
Costco.
You got an office.
I live at Costco, actually.
They
have a mattress set up for me.
Got a cot all set up there. Yeah.
Let's get back to the appearance that Trump made for the Economic Club of Chicago, the editor and chief of Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal were taken to task for their being wrong all these years.
According to Trump.
Who knew anyway?
Because he knows everything about economics.
Oh, yeah,
business.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We heard him take a few shots. Let's go to the question again. January 6th, will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power? Let's check out what his answer is for this.
If you look at the events of January the 6th, 2021, it showed to many people America's democracy was unruly and violent. Only 3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful... Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is what they like to do. This is what they like to do.
The truth. Yes.
And it's very interesting.
The question, President Trump, is would you respect the decision?
When I found out about this interview, I did a little check. He's a man that has not been a big Trump fan over the years. So I had a choice. Do I do this interview or not? I'm glad I did it. But do I do this interview or do I disappoint a lot of people? Because I know a lot of people in the audience. But his view is very different than mine. Let me just tell you.
I'm asking
March, we had a term, peacefully and patriotically. These were people. If you think an election is crooked, and I do, 100%. If you think the day it comes when you can't protest, you take a look at the Democrats, they protested 2016, they're still protesting it. Nobody talks about them.
We're not.
But if we protest, we want to have honest elections. You think the last election was honest? Well, no, do you think it was honest?
All the times it went to courts, the courts
No, it didn't go. They went to court, and the courts all said, you don't have standing. Nobody had standing. And it's hard, frankly, after an election for a judge, but they all said you don't. Nobody ever had standing.
It wasn't just
But the facts, if you take a look, I'd show you hundreds of pages of facts. People were angry. People went there. And I'll tell you what, they never show that. The primary scene in Washington was hundreds of thousands, the largest group of people I've ever spoken before, and I've spoken before. And it was love and peace.
That's what it was.
And some people went to the Capitol. And a lot of strange things happened there. A lot of strange things with people being waved into the Capitol by police, with people screaming, go in, with that never got into trouble. I don't want to mention names, but you know who they are. A lot of strange things happened. But you had a peaceful, very peaceful. I left the morning that I was supposed to leave. I went to Florida, and you had a very peaceful transfer. This was not and I'll tell you what, those people that did go dead, which was a tiny fraction of the people that went to Washington. I mean, you're talking about a very, very small, because hundreds of thousands of people, and I don't know what you had, 500, 600, 700 people go down to the Capitol.
Yes,
but
that's a lot.
Those people, that was not one of those people had a gun. Nobody was killed except for Ashley Babbitt. She was killed. She was killed. She was shot in the head by a policeman that what he did was horrible.
President Trump,
so I think we should be allowed to disagree on that. And obviously, you see by the reaction in this room, there's a lot of other people that disagree.
Never said the word insurrection, of course.
No, never.
Talked about all the violence at the Capitol that he instilled into those people. We're going to walk up. I'll be with you going up there.
I can't remember how many they've already locked up.
Well,
all
it's
those
in the hundreds.
all those protesters.
It's north of 500.
Yeah, I think it's around that. Yeah. All of them are hostages by this administration, obviously.
Sam?
Well, a couple things. Yeah. The people in the audience are cheering for Trump. I can't believe that. And he said that he had some friends in the audience, so that's why he did the interview. The other thing, he mentions that only one person died on January 6th, which technically is true. However, there were a number of Capitol police officers and others that died in the following days and in the following months, both of injuries and of suicides from everything they witnessed on that day.
Yes, and a lot of injuries, too.
Yeah, that's an amazing reconstruction of history.
Well, he's good at that.
He's rewriting that. I'm thinking he's almost probably applying as a comedy writer for some show in the distant future. Let's get to Tim Walz now. We've got a few clips here from Tim, and he was talking about Trump's reference to groceries being, just food we eat.
Okay.
So this is cut 118.
Donald Trump recently took a little bit of time to take something and do something really important to explain to us what groceries are. And I don't want to get this wrong, so I want to get this straight. I'll save you my Donald Trump impression, but I'll just read you what he said. I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery. It's sort of a simple word, but it sort of means like everything we eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And then there was last night. I don't know if some of you saw this. Donald Trump was doing a town hall. He took a few questions from the audience, totally botched those because they were things that weren't that important to him, like health care and child care. So he wouldn't have any, concept of a plan. But he got a little bit tired. And if you didn't see this, I would not usually encourage you, but we're doing it now. Go watch this guy right now and go watch these rallies or this town hall. He stopped taking questions and stood frozen on stage for 30 minutes while they played his Spotify list for people. Do you think he knows the story behind the YMCA song?
Probably not. Probably not. Didn't go to any of the clubs and do that thing.
It was strange, but if this was your grandfather, you would take the keys away.
Absolutely.
You would take the keys away.
You would. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now let's get to Tim talking about the enemy within. 119.
Do we have time for that, John?
Well, I don't know. 26 seconds. Are we out of time?
Just about, yeah. We've got 40 seconds to
Okay. All right. We don't have time to take Dick's call yet either.
Well, we'll ask Dick to hang on the line
If he
here
can.
just for a couple of minutes. And coming up shortly, we'll have Mike McCabe in the studio, too. And some tickets to give away to the sold-out Charlie Berens show at Comedy on State.
Yeah,
That's coming up as
got
well.
a few here.
It's all right here on 92.7 WMDX. Just today, tomorrow, and then something on Facebook. And I haven't read that part of it enough to know how we do that. But
why doesn't anybody tell us this stuff?
It's in an email from our new promotion director, and she doesn't know who to send things to. I'm like, oh I just happened to see it. Like, oh, okay.
Brittany's here, by the way.
Hi, Brittany.
Hello.
Let's start the ticket giveaway and then go to Brittany. And
sure. Are we just doing it this segment?
Yeah, we'll give them until after the 7:35 or
What do we?
The word is Charlie.
Well, now you just said it to all the 4 people watching, but if you text in before.
What do you mean? I thought they couldn't hear us.
You're talking to Brittany right now. That's why I turn your mics on. If you're.
We'll change the word.
Let's do it. Let's do it just before McCabe comes in.
Okay.
Then.
All right.
No, do it now. Don't change it last minute. Do it now. I won't count anything that comes in before the segment starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we want you to get our drop-ins ready, not take phone calls. So.
What do you mean?
Well, this is just a text,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it's okay.
All right. Whatever.
Yeah. No,
Do
Are you
where
planning
you
on
want.
playing stuff with Mike? Playing clips?
No. I wanted.
But
to
there's
free...
clips before that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to play clips after Brittany, so we're going to race through them.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
All right.
Brittany will keep it a little shorter than usual.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Very good. Freezing down here this morning.
It was. I told you about the gap in the door in my room. It was 60 degrees in there when I woke up.
Is it Mark Wagner that's pairing with him?
10 seconds.
Charlie Berens.
Yes, I believe.
98.7.
You kept talking to me during the break, so I didn't have time to get all the things queued up.
All right. Well, that's cool. WMDX, the John and Gordy Family Show. We're okay. We're all right.
Everything's fine. It's cold.
We're producing on the fly.
You think?
All right.
21 past the hour and cold this morning and going to be in the mid-50s later on. Brittany Merlot is standing by. We'll get to you in just a moment, Brittany. But for Brittany, we're going to give away a couple of pair of tickets to a sold-out show at Comedy on Stage. Charlie Berens is going to be there on October 22nd. That is next Tuesday evening at 6:30. Also, Mark Wagner will be with him. That's a big show. And again, it's sold out. But we've got a few pair of tickets to give away, and we're going to do that right now. If you text in or use your Civic Media app, you can use that to text in the word Charlie. Okay, Charlie, and we'll give those away in about 10 or 15 minutes, or you can call us, or text us, rather. Text us at 608-879-8255. But the Civic Media app is the way to do that. And again, a pair of tickets up for grab for Charlie Berens at Comedy on State next Tuesday evening.
All right. Now let's go to Brittany Merlot with what's going on in the weather.
Brittany, good morning.
Good morning.
Cold. Wow.
How do you like it? I sent my cold air.
Windows. I had frost on the car window this morning. It was not easy.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Brittany.
Oh, you got to use that defroster. Did you have the scraper too? Did you need that
I did.
today?
Yep,
Oh,
I needed that. Yeah.
Yeah, so now you know what we've been dealing with up north the past few weeks. I'm glad, because this is going to start to kill some of that pollen, those mosquitoes. And hey, we're only going up from here. How's that? Warm up in place right now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tons of sunshine today, mid 50s. And by tomorrow, those winds are going to start to whip out of the south, pulling us into the mid 60s and into the 70s for the weekend. The only thing I ask of you is no burning out there. Because with those winds and those dry conditions, avoid it, especially the brush piles.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, word to the wise. Okay.
Yeah.
I love the smell of those brush piles.
Well, you can't do that in your.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It's an effect in Middleton where you are, so don't do it.
I'll just put it in my little burn pit.
Okay. All right.
All right. What else? Is that it?
Anything else to note?
The weekend or something like that? Nothing else. All right. Just bring out the grill.
It. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Brittany, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Have a good weekend.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. What else we got here? Okay.
Yeah.
Got a few cuts here.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
All right. I want to get to a very short cut here. Tim Wall's talking about the enemy from within.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
He crossed a line that I have to tell you, in my lifetime, I would have never imagined, because we know our history. Donald Trump over the weekend was talking about using the U.S. Army against people who disagree with him. Just so you're clear about that, that's you. That's what he's talking about. This is not some mythical thing out there. He called it the enemy within. And to Donald Trump, anybody who doesn't agree with him is the enemy. I tell you that not to make you fearful or anything. I tell you that because we need to whip his butt and put this guy behind us.
And we should. Yeah. And in fact, but if they do come out for us, Gordy, let's send him over to Dick's. Okay. I mean, Dick is all set.
Oh, Dick's been hanging on the line here for a few minutes. Let's get to the phones.
Let's talk to him. Let's see what he has
to say. All right. Good morning, Dick. Go ahead.
Well, that situation with Bloomberg, he must not have brought his playlist from the night before, is all I can think. And I mentioned this to Todd yesterday, that thing was so bizarre. I saw a portion of it, about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It looked like some hybrid between American Bandstand and Soul Train. And then I heard he was asking where Dick Clark was.
Oh, good Lord.
That's how out of it the guy is. I don't know that, but that was the most bizarre thing, and it's getting no coverage from the media.
Yeah, well,
Very little.
I think it's hit the media fan now, at least, because people are kind of freaked out about how surreal it all looked. Christine Nome dancing out there on stage. It just it was so sickening and so horrible to see all those people who are afraid to say anything to this crazy man. Right? I mean, it's already a dictatorship on that side of the aisle, so they're afraid to say anything to him about anything.
There's a lot of fear out there.
Yeah, they're just going to go along with however long he wants to stand out on stage, and that's what we saw during that little fiasco. All right,
Dick, thank you for that call.
Yeah,
and move on a little bit here.
We got another cut here, and this is Walls talking about the medical records, and it's cut 122. All right, let's hear it.
Over the weekend, Kamala Harris made it very clear on this. She's ready. She has been making this clear for a long time. She's ready to be commander-in-chief, and she released her medical records. Straight, clean bill of health. Physical, mental stamina to do the job. Now, I think you all know where I'm going with this, don't you? We're all wondering. Donald Trump said that he would release his numbers. He would release his medical records. Look, he says now. I think he forgot to do it. He's been forgetting things. We'll give him a break on this, but Kamala Harris is right on this. Watch his rallies. He's confused. He's a nearly 80-year-old man. He's ranting and rambling until people get bored and leave his rallies. That's happening.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And he should release his medical records. You know, the weird thing is, I mean, we're seniors, we know,
right,
that there are certain health issues that older people have. It's not some option. They do get these things.
Yes.
And he must have them, or at least one of them, one of the things. He's not releasing the medical record because people, he thinks, will make something of it. We don't make something of it. They do, the MAGAs do, but
right,
we don't, we understand it's, this is life. This is what happens.
Yeah.
But
he's never going to release
no,
those records.
he's never going to release them.
Yeah.
We really don't have much time for this, do we?
We've got about a minute and 20 seconds. If you want to give a quick spiel,
I am. I'm just
going
to, forget the intro and all that other stuff. I went yesterday to the movies, yesterday afternoon, and saw The Apprentice.
This is the movie based on the show.
It's
The Apprentice.
portraying Donald Trump as the New York slumlord that he was at the time, and how he was taken under the wing of Roy Cohn.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, in this movie, Roy Cohn steals the show by Jeremy Strong. Just an incredible performance. It was a knockout performance. And I got to say, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I think it's one of the best. Big thumbs up from me. Sebastian Stan, of course, is the guy who played Bucky Barnes.
Okay.
The sidekick to Captain America in the Marvel films.
All right.
In this, he is fantastic as well. This is all true. There isn't one thing made up in this entire movie. I think you're going to really like it.
Big thumbs up.
Fun stuff.
All right. Coming up right around the corner, Mike McCabe from Substack. He will be joining us on the John and Gordy Show in just a few minutes.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's House of Excuses. The next time you need a good excuse for being late to work or forgetting your spouse's birthday, just call the House of Excuses. We guarantee that we'll come up with a good excuse for you on the spot. Our guarantee is simple. If we don't come up with a good excuse for you, we promise to give you a good excuse for not coming up with one.
Very good.
You know who's burning the lines up? Trump. He's always calling them up. Of course, they only have one solution, and that's blame somebody else.
Yeah, he's got plenty of excuses. Yeah. 735, 92.7 WMDX, the John and Gordy Show. Mike McCabe joining us in just a moment. Let me just mention that the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better and dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. Find them on Madison's East and West Side or online at verlo.com.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Mike
We've got
McCabe
Mike
is here.
McCabe here, and let's talk about your new book. Here it is.
We've got a copy
tomorrow,
Yeah.
officially on sale,
Yeah.
and we have it here in the studio.
Yeah, let's show
Here it
the
is.
camera there for those of you watching
Whoop,
on
there it
Facebook
is.
or X
Yep.
or Twitter or
Well, we've got about,
YouTube or
500 people watching
something
us
like
now
that,
on
yeah.
X, I believe.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's pretty
It's
fantastic.
a guesstimate, but
Yeah.
yeah. Something like that. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. I'm
So
great.
This is exciting. The
Yeah,
book
it
is
is
finally out,
exciting.
right?
Yeah,
Or is tomorrow the actual technical release date?
Tomorrow's the technical release date,
Yes.
but author copies arrived over the weekend, and
Fantastic.
it's available already
Yeah.
through online retailers and through bookstores. So, I guess the official launch date doesn't really matter because the book is out.
Well, that's true.
Now, you've written books before, but this is the first fictional book.
It
right?
is.
Fiction.
I've had 2 nonfiction books published, but this is my maiden voyage.
Yeah.
Trying my hand at writing.
So how was
a
it
novel.
for you to do something like this? You mentioned fiction is a little bit easier to get some of your ideas across.
Oh, it's
Or just different.
it's devilishly difficult, but what fiction allows you to do,
Yes.
I think, is to get at deeper truths or broader truths, because you can create composite characters, you can create composite places, you can create events that maybe are a mixture of different life experiences that have happened. And if you're confined by the facts, sometimes that gets in the way of the truth, because laying out the facts, you might be confined by timeline or by some strict telling of events. With fiction, you can blend events and even people and places in ways that help you lay out truth, I think, in sometimes a more complete way. So, fiction doesn't mean false. Fiction doesn't mean untrue. Sometimes fiction actually is a way to get at deeper truths.
Well, there are studies that have been done about this, and when you tell storytelling is well received by the listener. So, I mean, you can get a lot of ideas across better just by telling a story, and that's what fiction is good for.
It was a delightful journey. Humbling as all hell to do this. But, storytelling is such an enchanting undertaking, and I loved the experience, and the story means a great deal to me, and I hope others find meaning in it as well.
The name of the book, by the way, is Miracles Along County Q, and it's published by Little Creek Press.
Out of Mineral Point.
And
see, kept it local.
I did.
Yeah. And there's a short review here by Nicholas Butler that you've talked about before, the author of Shotgun Love Songs and A 40-Year Kiss, and he has a quote on the front of the book there: "Anyone who's ever lived in a small town will connect with this lovely book." That's a nice big thumbs up, right?
Well, and the quote on the back from him, the fuller quote, is even more staggering. I was just, I was just amazed, that here's the...
You're a gifted storyteller.
That's what he says.
I want to ask you something, because you are a storyteller and you describe things so well, and that's why you're here on this program. I love the way you take a perspective on something. But do you find yourself, when you were writing this fiction, do you find yourself as in that world, a participant, you kind of wrapped up in this community?
Of course.
Yeah.
Some of it, what I say in the acknowledgments, in the book is that it's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's fictionalized, but the people, the places, the events are real.
Mm-hmm.
There's a splash of the supernatural in the storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and in the characters are composites of real people.
Right.
The places also are composites. It's set in a fictional small town that is based on actually a couple of different small towns that I know very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are wrapped up in that world as you're telling a story, and you know, it is you know, these are very real experiences with a dollop of the supernatural added for good measure, which is part of the fun. And there's a lot of secrets that don't unfold or don't reveal themselves until very late in the book that I'm pretty sure most readers won't see coming. And that's part of the fun too, is to write in a way that conceals certain things until the proper moment. All of that was just a delight to go through.
So, Mike, do you have a book signing coming up, or a couple of them?
I do. I'm going to be up in La Crosse. Will be the first event. But here in Madison, I'm going to be at Mystery to Me bookstore the evening of November 6th.
Okay.
So the day after the election.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
there will be a public gathering, and you know, depending on the outcome, regardless of the outcome, really, it's going to be important for people to have things to do that bring folks together and do something in public.
But you know, a while back, I guess when I was in high school, I was drawing a comic book. And we came up with storyline, and I would draw up these situations, and I found myself in that world, and I had to react in that world. And I actually, and this is my question to you, is did you find it was enjoyable to escape into that world when you started to write your book again, and chapters of it and some of the characters in it, just as I did? I actually enjoyed being in that world, that escape.
Yeah, I wish I could draw. I wish I could do a comic book, but I don't have such talent. Yeah. But just being able to put words together, string them together in a way that
you actually
that tells a good
experience
story.
In your head.
You absolutely do.
Yeah,
you absolutely do. And a lot of my best writing was actually done while walking. I would, you know, sometimes I would just have to push away from a keyboard and go take a walk, and the ideas would start to crystallize in my head, and I could go back later and sit back down at a keyboard, and a lot would spill out that actually I needed a chance to just go out and walk in the woods or something to let the ideas marinate a little bit. And
how long did it take you to put the book together?
Well, you know, in a way, the book was 60 years in the making.
Oh,
there you go.
But really, it was an idea that was sort of rattling around in my head for several decades, but it was really just in the last year, in the last couple, 3 years, that I really started thinking, hey, I'm going to write this down.
Yeah.
And it took me a few months to actually write it down. You know, it was probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But then a lot of revision, a lot of reworking to get it to the point where it is now.
My wife is a writer, so yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a little frustrated sometimes.
We're talking with Mike McCabe, Substack blogger, and recent Substack is just out. You release those every week, right?
Yeah. Once a week I put out an article.
I'd love to be able to talk about that because it's about Governor Evers' trickery when he when he approved the biennial bill. Talk about it. You've got it in your Substack. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Well,
on this.
It was a very creative use of his veto authority that made national headlines. I mean, the New York Times splashed this, you know, on its front page, and
pretty extreme.
And it made national headlines. And the way the headlines told the story, he had figured out a way through the use of his veto authority to lock in school funding increases for 400 years.
Yes.
And kind of cement these school funding increases in place for 4 centuries.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty meaningless gesture when you really look at what he did. What he did actually doesn't commit the state to providing $1 in school funding increases. What he did was lock in place a increase in the state imposed revenue limit on school districts of $325 per student for 400 years. So for 400 years, there would be a $325 per student increase in the allowable revenue that local school districts can raise. That doesn't mean the money's coming from the state. Doesn't mean that the governor and the legislature are going to provide this additional money. It just means that local school districts could increase their budgets by $325 per student. That's a lot different than what the headline implied.
Yeah. It is, and it's a wonderful point you make in this, is that it locks in a certain amount of spending that doesn't really keep up with inflation.
Oh, not at all. Because think about it, it's a $325 per student allowable increase. This school year, that amounts to about a 2.5% increase, which doesn't quite keep up with inflation.
Right.
But if you then
extrapolate 400 years,
add another $325 per student the next year and the following year and the following year, in 400 years, $325 per student would be 0.2%.
Yikes.
That would be the allowable revenue increase.
Yeah.
And that's a starvation diet for schools if they're at 400 years from now, because you can imagine what prices and what salaries would be 400 years from now, but they can only increase their budget by 0.2%. So that doesn't all of a sudden seem like such a good deal. And that also is implying that we should have state-imposed budget controls on local units of government, local school district, for the next 4 centuries.
Right.
And and that itself would be a controversial undertaking. But of course, in reality, the budget's put together every 2 years, and you can't budget for 400 years, and you can't force somebody to spend money for 400 years because future legislatures, future school boards will have something to say about that. So it was a empty gesture, but it's back in the news now.
Yes, it
because
is.
the state Supreme Court has taken up a case challenging the constitutionality of that budget veto.
And if anything brings like Republicans and liberals together on the Supreme Court, which is impossible to think of doing.
Right.
They are together on this one, and now they're going to have to act and maybe even limit the veto power of our governor at this point, which we've all enjoyed and has been very beneficial.
Yeah, it does appear, based on the oral arguments, based on what the justices were saying, that the liberals and conservatives on the court are united in thinking, wow, this is outrageous. This cannot be allowed to stand. So this empty gesture that wouldn't have been enforceable for 400 years anyway, and that wouldn't actually have been a good deal for schools anyway, this may now put the Supreme Court in a position of wanting to rein in the governor's veto authority further and prevent him from doing some things that actually would have some practical positive effect. So I just, I think it's important, and now that the Supreme Court's taken up this case, for people to understand what was really done, what it really amounts to, and then what the future implications could be, because there could be something really important down the road where we would want the governor to be able to exercise his authority to get us something good.
Exactly.
And he may be more limited in that regard.
May have killed it at that point.
Yeah. Very good. Mike, can you stick around a little bit?
Sure can.
Another minute or two here. We're going to come back with Mike McCabe, author of Miracles Along County Q. And what's the best place to go to get more information about the book and about your Substack articles?
Well, you can go to Substack at mikemccabe.substack.com. You can find me there. You can look up the book on Little Creek Press's website, littlecreekpress.com.
Good enough. Stick around, Mike. We'll be right back with more of the John and Gordy Show at 92.7 WMDX.
the John and Gordy Early Morning Family Show, 92.7 WMDX.
Sending our congratulations out to Thomas, who won a pair of Charlie Berens tickets. He's going to be at Comedy on State. That show is a sold-out show, but we'll have another pair of tickets to give away tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Yeah, they're sold out, so we've got the remaining few that we stole from the stack. I'm sure they're angry about that.
Proceeds from that show going to, thank you, Sam.
The Wisconsin Democracy Campaign?
Yes. Just blank out completely. It's okay. I'll be all right in a little while. Okay.
You're still hopped up on painkillers from getting your tooth pulled.
Getting my tooth pulled
Our
yesterday.
guest, Mike McCabe, had something to do with the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign.
That's right.
It's a good cause that you're donating to.
Yeah, there you go. See, a big smile on his face over here. And while we've got you here, I thought maybe you could just give us your input on the horse race that we refuse to talk about on this program. But
you're going to make me talk about it.
Yeah, I want you to say something about it, so we can continue to say we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
All right, and that is this idea that Kamala Harris is speaking off a scripted teleprompter where Donald Trump can have the flexibility of doing the weave. So,
where he's just actually making stuff up and riffing on it.
And in fact, the Harris campaign has said that they like that style. They love it. They're defending it. Yes, we can read off the teleprompters, and we can read well off those teleprompters. As you know, Trump likes to make mistakes of the teleprompter and then take off on some topic that has nothing to do with the topic he was on originally. And the guy who's running the teleprompter is saying, now what do I do? Where do I go with this? Do I let it just keep running or,
Well,
whatever?
the point is that let there be no mistake, Trump has a teleprompter too.
Yeah.
And there's a teleprompter operator who's
Yes.
trying to get the thing to scroll and figure out where he is, but he just doesn't. He meanders, and that's the reality. But it's not like the two candidates. One has a teleprompter and the other is unscripted. It's just that one just refuses to read what's on the screen, and he just goes off. He goes off on all kinds of tangents, and that's his style. I have some sympathy for the media here in terms of how you cover these two candidates, because one of the candidates is not bound by truth. It does go off on flights of fancy, and how do you report that? That's a serious challenge, and I do have some sympathy. Do you just show it for what it is and hope that people understand, what they're seeing, or do you try to put it in some context? That's a really tough job to do. And then it's almost inevitable that they apply a double standard to Kamala Harris because she's not engaging in that kind of behavior. And then they say, well, she's not being responsive enough to questions, or she's not speaking in enough detail. Well, what detail is he giving? He's just making stuff up.
Yes, yeah.
And so it is really, really a challenging thing to cover those two candidates. One, they're kind of covering conventionally, and the other you can't cover conventionally because he doesn't allow it.
Well, we've had since 2016 to come up with something. Judith Davidoff was in here. She's with the Isthmus, and her Isthmus was part of a group, nationwide organization to push democracy. And it is, I guess their quest was to try to find some way to stress democracy in this country, to talk about it and talk about the candidates. But they never came up with a way to somehow not appear partisan, but to describe what is going on. And I think the problem with the media is that they can't call these people out as liars or even use the word liar. But, so it just goes off the rails, as we have seen with Donald Trump. So there's got to be a way to rein this kind of thing in where the media can describe it in the press in a way that doesn't look partisan, but still call it out for what it is.
And I see a lot of times there will be a reference to the fact that he is making a false claim,
right,
or he's falsely claiming this or that. And when something is said that is just not true, I think the media do have a responsibility to say, well, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And they can phrase it however they wish, but they've got to say that's just not so. And here's what's true.
Well, they do that, but
then they get accused of being unfair.
But
partisan.
they can't talk about the idea of fascism.
Right.
The point is,
right,
this guy is a dictator. It's already happening. At least on his side of the aisle, no one will question anything he says or does at this point, and that's going to happen nationwide. I went to see The Apprentice last night, and that movie had trouble being distributed because of a threat from Trump, a lawsuit, and no one wanted to distribute it.
Right.
That's already dictatorship.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
already control of the media. So, and the media has no way of fighting the idea or bringing it up all the time in their stories that this guy is a dictator, a fascist.
And Trump was Trump's people complaining that a few weeks ago that Kamala Harris would not do sit-down interviews, and so she's done half a dozen of them at least since then. And then she was in on the debate, and then he bailed out on the debate. Mm-hmm. And same thing with 60 Minutes. They were both going to appear on 60 Minutes, separate segments. But he bailed out on that.
Bailed out because he didn't want to be fact-checked.
Right.
That's got to tell you something immediately.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Still, I'm left, in the words of Robert Reich, I'm still left nauseously optimistic.
And we'll leave it right there. Drop the mic.
Beautiful.
That's Mike McCabe, author of Miracles Along County Q. Mike, thanks for joining us. See you next Wednesday. That's going to do it for John and Gordy. Stephanie Miller is next right here, 92.7 WMDX. All right, go on.
John and Gordy Show.